All right, staying on the story, we are getting in some more breaking inputs. In fact, Prime Minister Modi has taken to platform X, where he's gone on to share his experience in Sri Lanka. He says that it is always a pleasure to meet the leaders of the Tamil community of Sri Lanka. Conveyed my condolences on the passing of respected Tamil leaders Thiru R. Sampantana and Thiru Mavai Sentiraja, both of whom were personally known to me, reiterated unwavering commitment to a life of equality, dignity and justice for the Tamil community within United Sri Lanka. Many projects and initiatives launched during my visit will continue to contribute to their social, economic and cultural progress. Prime Minister also has met Sri Lanka's leader of opposition, Sajith Premadasa. Prime Minister posted on platform X again, saying that he appreciates his personal contribution and commitment to strengthening India-Sri Lanka friendship. Our special partnership receives support in Sri Lanka, cutting across party lines. Our cooperation and robust development partnership are guided by the welfare of the people of our two countries. This is what Prime Minister has had to say. Remember, this is a state visit, a visit of many firsts. In fact, I'm joined in by Aman on the phone line, who will shed more light on that news story. Aman, first of all, when we talk about the Prime Minister reaching out to the Sri Lankan Tamils, what is the message being sent back home at a time when we've seen the kind of domestic politics that's taking place as M.K. Stalin calls out for Kachitivu Island to be taken?
Oh, well, yes, Akansha. See, the Prime Minister has always held this very long-standing view. Even during the earlier visit, I remember a few years back, he had repeated the same thing. And India-Sri Lanka relations, have only improved over the years, especially during this visit. We are seeing some firsts which have happened. You see 6 Sri Lankan ministers receiving the Prime Minister at the airport. The statement which came from the Sri Lankan president today, where he has assured Prime Minister Modi that his country wouldn't allow its territory to be used in ways that threaten India's security interests. I think a very, very major statement, because this assurance, aims to alleviate concerns about China's increasing influence in the region. And this statement was made during a meeting when both leaders discussed strengthening bilateral ties and cooperation in areas like defense, energy, trade. India and Sri Lanka have also signed a key defense pact today after the Prime Minister met with the President. So I think all positive signs are coming from this visit, but I think the Sri Lankan President's statement that reaffirming Sri Lanka's stand, it will not permit its territory to be used in any manner inimical to the security of India and regional stability is a major, major statement. We also saw the Prime Minister's ceremonial welcome, which happened at the Independence Square in Colombo, a very special occasion also because this is, I believe, the first time that Sri Lanka has accorded such a welcome to a visiting dignitary. PM Modi also being conferred the prestigious Mitra Vibhushana Medal by Sri Lanka today for his exceptional efforts to strengthen the bilateral ties and promoting the shared cultural and spiritual heritage of the two nations. So a lot of takeaways, I think, from the Sri Lankan visit of the Prime Minister. And as you said, his gesture of speaking about the Tamils would have also a positive impact back home in Tamil Nadu, where elections are slated next.
Absolutely. Many thanks to you, Aman, for sharing all those inputs. In fact, I'm also joined in by Ambassador Sajanar on the phone line. Ambassador, thank you for joining in. We were just discussing how this state visit is one which is historic, primarily because of the many firsts that it marks, starting from the first defense pact that has been struck between India and Sri Lanka, not to forget the grand ceremonial reception that Prime Minister has received, which Sri Lankan officials themselves have called a historic one to be accorded to any foreign leader till date?
Oh, absolutely, you're right. First of all, thank you for having me on the show. You're very right. There are very many firsts as far as this visit is concerned. This is the first foreign head of state or head of government that has been invited to Sri Lanka after President Anura Dissanayake won the election and came to office in September last year. Also, it is important to remember that in December, when he came to India, that is the first foreign destination that he had chosen for his visit after being anointed to the position. So these two visits coming one after the other in quick succession, I think they send out a very strong message that both the countries, in terms of their understanding, in terms of the cooperation, there is a lot going for them. And you mentioned about the Defense Pact, you mentioned about this award, the highest civilian award that has been given to Prime Minister Modi. So I think what we can really see is that there is a huge comfort level, between the two leaders, between the two sides. We can see that there is great understanding between the two sides, and at the strategic level, I think what India did with Sri Lanka in 2022, that is, came up with $4.5 billion when Sri Lanka really had it back to the wall and it was cornered, and even its biggest, foreign creditor, that is China, would not come to the position.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because that's exactly what I was coming to, Ambassador. Ambassador, do you think that Beijing, of course, is going to be watching very closely, and now the years that have gone by have been, have in fact arrived with their own set of learning for Sri Lanka? Perhaps that's why the president today said that they are not going to be looking at anything that's going to be inimical to India's own security interests in the island nation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think these countries, they will have their own lessons to learn and they will take their own actions. I think the manner in which we go forward as far as our relations with these countries are concerned, that we should not be seen competing with China. We have our own strengths, and we should leverage those particular strengths, whether it is culture, whether it is language, whether it is religion, whether it is spirituality, whether it is economics. We have a free trade area. We want to expand it to a comprehensive economic partnership agreement. So I think there is a great strength as far as our bilateral ties are concerned. They will take their own lessons. I don't think it will be okay for us to think that since we are there in a big way that they are not going to deal with China.
All right.
Not at all. Whether it is Sri Lanka, Maldives, Bangladesh, they will try to take benefit of whatever is on offer from China, but they'll be very mindful that they don't lend themselves into a debt trap. They'll be very mindful that they do not have economically unsustainable projects like the Hambantota port that has come in Sri Lanka, and that whatever they do, that is more done on grants, because I think it also needs to be recognized that India has converted the $100 million loans to grants for Sri Lanka, and we've seen just recently when KP Sharma Oli went to China and he wanted the support that China had given for the Pokhara airport, that to be converted into grant. That was not agreed to. So
but don't you think that the economic interests for both the countries, India and Sri Lanka right now, go both ways at a time when we've seen how Prime Minister has also emphasized on the FTA during the BIMSTEC summit, keeping the timing in mind? All countries, and now if you look at the BIMSTEC nations primarily, perhaps under the aegis of India, are looking to diversify their needs after Trump's tariffs.
No, you're very right. I think they will definitely look, these countries will look at their own interests. And I think we shouldn't grudge them that. We ourselves, when we are dealing with different countries, we are looking at our own interests. But we have to position ourselves in such a way that they find that their interest lies in strengthening their cooperation and collaboration with India above any of the other contenders that there might be, against any of the other countries that might wish to be, that might be reaching out to them.
All right.
So I think it is, and India has been playing its cards very well, whether it is Sri Lanka or it is Maldives. Maldives, you would remember that, Moizu came to India as the 7th country of his visit. But then after that, we have strengthened and straightened out our ties. So India has to be patient. The strategic patience has to be shown, has to be displayed, but also being nimble-footed in our approach to our neighborhood.
Many thanks to you, Ambassador Sajjan Har, for sharing your perspective on that news story and with